Soup to nuts, completing a new task. Now we've been through a lot of stuff right now. I mean, we've done like 18 nuggets worth of information, and believe it or not, at this point you've been exposed to most of the core things in Windows PowerShell. But now it's time to put that to use. I'm going to pick a task, an administrative task, a very real world Windows management task. And I've never done this before. I swear to you, I'm going to sit down and we're going to figure out how to do this thing because that's really the skill. This is piecing together all the stuff that we've just done so that we can figure out how to accomplish some particular task. And I'm going to make it a little bit difficult. I'm going to try and make this something that's interesting and tricky, and I'm going to really walk you through how I approach this type of thing and how I teach myself to accomplish these tasks in a production environment. Now, personally, I think that when you're trying to accomplish some new task in Windows PowerShell, there actually is a pretty set process that you have to follow. And this is what I tend to do. And you probably tend to do something similar, but let's actually call out these different phases where we start by discovering what it is that we need to do. We need to find the commands that will do it, and then we need to learn how to use those commands. Sometimes there might be some experimentation involved, figuring out the right way to run the command. And that's a great reason to have a test environment that you can play with, like a virtual machine. As you experiment, you will revise your approach until you get the one you want, and then you're complete. And that'll often include taking the completed command and pasting it into a file, a script, if you will, so that you don't have to go through this process the second time. You can just run the script, and then the script kind of also serves to document what it is you just learned how to do. Now I'm going to be performing most of this in PowerShell version 3 on my Windows 8 computer. Now I want to emphasize everything that I'm about to show you would still work in version 2. It's just my version 2 computer, which is running Windows 7, I haven't installed the Remote Server Administration Toolkit, which is what I plan to use. There is an RSAT for Windows 7. It does work with PowerShell version 2, so everything I'm going to show you is version 2 and later. Now the task I want to accomplish is this. I want to try and get a list of installed roles and features from a Windows Server computer. Now that also has got PowerShell installed on it. I want to save that list of installed features to a file of some kind to create a baseline. I then want the ability to, in the future, query that server again and automatically uninstall any features that aren't in the baseline. So if somebody's been running around and they've installed Telnet or they've installed something on this server, I want it to pull that off for me. So this is going to be a reasonably complex task. The first bit of this is going to be figuring out how to get a list of installed roles and features from the computer. I'm also going to get the ISE up and running here. In fact, we might do some of this in the ISE just because I want this script over here to be handy so that once I finally figure out how to do this, I can just paste it right over there and keep it in a file. So, features, roles. Let's do help role. I got to discover the commands first. Yeah, I'm kind of failover clusters. It's all cluster stuff. Active Directory, DNS. All right, let's try feature then. Oh, okay, here we go. Get Windows feature, install Windows feature, uninstall Windows feature. And that's in the Server Manager module. Okay, you know what? Now that I know that's in there, I'm gonna manually check out the commands that are in there. Let's do a get command for the module Server Manager. Oh, okay. That's that's easy there. It's pretty much just them. So get Windows feature, install Windows feature, uninstall Windows feature, and then there's aliases, add and remove. Oh, you know what that is? Probably at some point, I'll bet you in version 2, they used add and remove, and then they thought, that's not really the right verb, so we're going to change it to install and uninstall, but we'll put these aliases here so people that were using those already won't get lost. That's one of the reasons you'll see an alias, especially when the alias is a whole verb dash noun. Anyway, let's start with get Windows feature. I got to learn how to use this thing. Get Windows feature. I love this ISE pop-up thing. Yeah, let's take a look at this. It does let me specify a computer name. That's optional. It does let me specify the name of a feature I want, but this whole parameter is optional. So embedding, since the name is optional, if I don't provide a name, it will get me all the features. I don't really want to log this. I have no idea what the VHD thing does, but now I'm curious now. Let's read the full help on this. Swim up Parabet. I've never actually specifies a path to an offline VHD. Wow, that's actually cool. So this can tell me the Windows features that are installed in a virtual machine that isn't even running just by looking at its VHD, but it already has to be mounted using the DISM tools. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well that's not what we want to do. let's do a get Windows feature from computer name member. Cool little progress bar, seems to indicate something's happening. At least 20% of something is happening. Someone play the Jeopardy theme. Server name cannot be resolved. Huh. I'm going to check real quick and make sure that server is running. Yeah, my Hyper-V manager says it's running. Let's try pinging member. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Oh, okay. All right. How about my DC? Can I ping him? Okay, good. I can ping my DC. That's a relief. Well, let's just try this with my DC then, so we can kind of eliminate possible. I mean, we're in the experimenting phase here. That's good. I like that. So we actually get little check boxes here. See, I really just want to spit out a list of ones that are installed. All right, there's this column over here that says installed. What's that column named? Install state. Yeah, see, that's not an actual property name. Property names don't have spaces in them. All right, we're going to have to send this off to get member. I got to see what the properties are, because I got to be able to manipulate this thing. So we got properties. Okay, so install state is install state, just without a space, but there's this installed, and that's Boolean, which means it's either true or false. So I wonder if I can just send this to where object and just say where installed. Excellent. And so, all right, so I've got the display name, the name, and the install state. I need to figure out which of these pieces of information is going to be used to uninstall a feature so that I make sure I'm capturing the right thing. So let's real quick look at the help for, what was it, uninstall Windows feature? Yeah. So it wants the name of the feature, and I can specify a computer name. It's a pity I can only specify a single computer name. We'll probably have to put this in a for each if we want to do multiple computers. But all right, so I need to save off the name. All right, so let's do this then. Let's get the Windows feature. Let's only grab the ones that are installed, and let's just select the, you know what, I need to see if this name parameter can accept pipeline input. So we're going to have to look at the full help for that. Where was the help? Help. All right, let's go look at that name parameter. VHD name. Accepts pipeline input. It accepts it by value. So it wants an entire feature object. Do you remember our get member? Is that what is a feature object, what this produces? Is that what get Windows feature outputs? Yes, it's a feature. Okay. So I don't need to pull out the name. I need to store that entire feature object. Now, that means that's a complex object. So the best place to store that is probably going to be a CLI XML file. Export CLI XML, and we're just going to call this baseline.xml. Now let's try importing that XML file and see what we get. Import CLI XML baseline. Okay. The fact that I could import that from the CLI XML and I get the same looking display as when I ran the get Windows feature command suggests to me that CLI XML is doing a good job of preserving the object structure. Let's pipe it to get member and see what kind of object. Yeah, it's still a feature object. It's deserialized, which means it came out of a text file, an XML file, but it's still a feature object. Okay, good. we need to, so I've got my baseline. Now I need to figure out the other bit. And to do that, I'm going to have to install a feature that isn't in the baseline. So let's do a get Windows feature again. Let's see what I can add that maybe is not going to be super, super awful. Telnet client is available. Removed, given that I've got this installed, available means installed, but I could. Removed, I'm betting means the binary isn't even on the disk. So I'd probably have to show up with my DVD or something if I wanted to install Telnet server. But let's just put Telnet client on there. So let's do an add, no, it was install Windows feature name Telnet dash client. Oh, I got to target the computer. Right, on the computer DC. Cool. 92%, 100. Okay, successful, true. No restart needed. Success exit code. Windows automatic updating is not enabled. And ensure that your newly installed role is automatic. Oh, yeah, whatever. We're not going to do Windows Update here in the lab because I don't want to sit through it. Okay, good. Now let's see if we can get PowerShell to detect that there is, in fact, a difference here. I'm going to do that with the compare object command, which is one that we have used before. Yeah, okay. Compare object. The reference is my baseline, import CLI XML baseline. The difference is get Windows feature computer name DC. So the difference is whatever the machine is currently running. Let's just see what happens. See, it's seeing a lot of things that are different. You know why? It's because my CLI XML file, I think, only lists, yeah, see, this is like every feature it's showing is different. That's because my CLI XML file only has installed ones, and I just got all of them here. So we're going to have to come back up and put that where in here. Where $_ installed. See now, well, see, we've got the arrows pointing in different directions. Let's try just comparing the name. Property name. Ah, there we go. So that gets me the fact that the Telnet client has changed. So the name is the Telnet client. So you know what I could probably do? Let's grab all of this. I'm trying to work through my logic here. Get all that. Let's clipboard that. Let's stick it over here. All right, so if this command produces a list of, it doesn't produce a list of names, does it? It's producing this thing with a name and a side indicator. Let's take that and select, expand just the name. Okay. So if this whole command, I got to add that here too. Select, expand name. If this entire command produces a list of names of features that are installed that are not present in the baseline, then that is the list of names that I want to get rid of. I want to uninstall. So let's go to a single pane here. Yeah, so if that is, I could probably just do uninstall Windows feature from the computer name DC, and the name, I got to specify the feature I want to uninstall. Is it remove? No, that's a switch. I got to go look at uninstall Windows feature again. Let's look at the help for that real quick. Help uninstall Windows feature. How do I specify the feature I want to uninstall? Oh, it's name. It is name. Let's see if that'll work. I'm going to grab this whole thing, copy it to the clipboard, go back to our command line. I'm just going to paste it in. Ooh, it's removing something. I think that worked. Okay, get Windows feature, computer name. Let's just check it here. DC, where... I wonder if I can just use the new syntax since I'm in version 3 and put installed. No, I told you I was going to show you stuff that worked for version 2. So we'll use the version 2 syntax. Yeah, Telnet's gone. That is awesome. All right, so look at this. I'm gonna format this, and the way I'm gonna do it might not actually execute properly, but so in parentheses here, I'm just doing this to try and get it all on the screen and make it visible so we can talk about it. So we've got our reference object, and we've got our difference object. Here we go. So I'm telling it to uninstall a Windows feature from the computer name DC. The feature I want uninstalled is, drumroll, whatever name comes out of this command. This is saying compare object. Go get the baseline for that machine, compare it to whatever Windows features are installed on that machine, just compare the name, and then expand the name so that the name string is being fed to this parameter. Now I'm curious, so now that there is no difference, I wonder what'll happen. I wonder what'll happen if I run the command again. See, now it should have nothing to do because the command that produces differences should produce nothing. I wonder if I'm just going to get an error where it says you didn't tell me what to remove. Yeah. Yep. Cannot validate the argument on parameter name. It's empty. Okay, actually that's good news. That's kind of exactly what I was hoping would happen. Now later on I'll show you how you could actually trap that error and produce a success message like everything's okay, boss, nothing to uninstall. But I think that's pretty impressive. Now look, it's this process I went through that really was the point of this. It's a task I've never tried to accomplish before, but I was able to find the commands that do these things, kind of experiment with them a little bit, and teach myself how they work. And just by piecing the logic together, I was able to create a one-line command that will uninstall unwanted features. I mean, that's accomplishing a real production task. I could potentially make that into a scheduled task, or even put it into a script that maybe I run in System Center Orchestrator, or that I run whenever someone opens a ticket on that server and I notice that there's wrong stuff installed. It's a great process to go through, kind of forcing yourself to accomplish that task by going through the discrete individual steps of discovery and learning and so on. So whether you think of all these things as discrete steps or not, this is actually what we did. We discovered the command that would perform the task. We learned how to use it, which involved a little bit of experimentation and revision, and at the end we had a complete command that could then have been pasted into a script, allowing us to rerun that thing anytime we need to, or at least to document the syntax that we spent all that time learning. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.